What's up, guys? This is Raul Espinoza with the Iowa Entrepreneur. Welcome. Today I have a very special guest. He is the president of Bryant Iowa Heating and Cooling, and since it's Veterans Day, who perfect than DuWayne McDaniel. Hi, DuWayne.
How you doing today?
Hey, pretty good. Thanks for coming to the show today.
You bet.
So let's get right to it. We're going to talk about your military career first, kind of how you got into that since it's Veterans Day, and then we'll move on into the HVAC, your career, like what you do in the HVAC industry. So
you bet.
What kind of got you started into first off, what military branch are you?
First of all, Air Force.
Awesome.
I stuttered there for just a second because before the Air Force, I was actually in the Army Reserve, which most people don't know.
Sure.
My mom was a captain in the Army Reserve. So my junior year to my senior year in high school, I actually joined the Army and went down to Fort Benning, Georgia, and was an infantryman.
Okay.
And after basic training in Fort Benning, Georgia, I've decided to myself that was not a good place to be.
Not for you.
That was not it at all.
Okay.
I love going hunting. I like doing all those kind of things, but having bullets shot at you is not a fun thing.
Oh.
And I take off my hat to everybody in the military today that has to have that happen.
Yeah.
But so anyway, junior year, my junior into my senior year in high school, my mom talked me into joining the reserves and did that. And come the following summer, I asked if I could go full time, any active duty I wanted to.
Oh.
And the answer was yes. And so basically to get out of the Army in an honorable way, I signed up full time Air Force.
Okay.
And that's where it all began.
So where were you based out of when you switched over?
Sure. So I went straight back to basic training again. So I did 2 summers of basic training, which Air Force is, I would say, the best place for anybody to start a career. But went down to Lackland, Georgia, or Lackland, Texas. Sorry.
Okay.
And did that. Then they shipped me off to Chanute Air Force Base in Illinois for my training, which was sheet metal.
Okay.
And that's kind of where all the careers kind of started.
Cool.
Yeah, my first assignment was in Barksdale Air Force Base down in Louisiana. Spent about a year and a half there, not quite, and asked for orders overseas, and they granted them.
Okay.
At that point, I had to extend long, basically extended my 4-year commitment to
be overseas.
To be overseas. So I extended that long and went to Bitburg, Germany, which just today is still my best assignment in my entire life.
That would be cool.
I got to see the world in a sense. Saw lots of things that the normal person doesn't get to see.
Yeah.
But with that, with all the sheet metal stuff, it turned into working on airplanes. And we worked on F-15 Eagles out of the 53rd AMU 36 TAC fighter wing. And so that was probably the highlight of my career. Then it was time for my assignment to be up.
Yeah.
And it was August of 1990.
Okay.
And my first shirt called me into his office. And I think I shipped half my stuff already home. I had 60 days to data separation.
Yeah.
And so first shirt calls me in the office and says, Sergeant McDaniel, you're not going anywhere. I said, I don't know what you're talking about. I'm leaving in 60 days. He said, no, there's a thing called stop loss out there. And all you military people out there would absolutely understand stop loss. And what that is basically they're going to hold you in the position you're at until further notice. There was no exit orders at that point. So they said, okay, you're going to Desert Shield at the time. And then December 21st of 1990, I was shipped to Desert Storm.
And that's why they kind of held you back. They were like, well, we know we're going to get into this.
Right. They didn't know what the situation was going to be.
Okay.
Whether we were going to have lots of things to repair or things like that. So that's kind of where it all got started and ending.
Okay.
And then while in the middle of the Desert Storm went really well.
Okay.
And they lifted my stop loss orders while I was still in the desert. That's which was really crazy. They had to get me out of the desert, and they gave me myself and another person that was in the same boat as me gave us orders to get out of the get out of Saudi Arabia. Basically, is what the order said. They said we could go anywhere we wanted to go. Just get on a plane and get out of here.
And get out.
So we did. We went up to England.
Nice.
Spent a week in England.
So you've been Germany and England.
Yeah, I've been all over Europe. Yeah. So, but that was the fun part of it. A lot of friends I still communicate with today.
Good.
On that. Couldn't be happier now looking back at it that I actually got to experience that whole situation. Sure. Very proud of that whole thing.
Yeah, I remember visiting your new office, which you have a new office now.
I do.
Can you tell us where it is?
Yeah. So we're not closing technically the old other office. We still have that.
Yeah.
We're using it for a different situation. But we moved to 128 Southeast Surefine Drive.
Nice. It's a nice place. It's
big. Yeah, it's nice and big. We moved ourselves from about 2,200 square foot to about 12,000 square foot.
And for you guys listening, the previous building is in Uptown Ankeny, in case they don't know.
Yeah, that's correct.
Yeah, very very small company. Not even it's insane how big your new building is.
Yes, it's we can actually move our elbows in there, and we took a while getting it all put together, but we're very happy there. Always looking for the next opportunity, of course, as far as the building goes. But right now, that's our home, and we're going to stay there for quite a while.
Yeah, it was a good, cool little tour you gave me. But I remember seeing in your office you had some photos of those fighter jets. So those are the Eagles you're talking about?
They are the F-15
That's
C models.
Very iconic.
Yeah,
fighter jet.
They're in my opinion, they're still the best fighter jet in the air today.
Yeah,
and any other Eagle people out there would totally agree with me on that. They are as far as I know, I haven't done my research lately, but the last time I knew that they are the only airplane that could go straight up in the air and continue to increase speed, where other airplanes fall over and kind of have to fall out of their climb. Cool. Yeah.
Well, I remember growing up too in the cartoons I would watch. If they had a fighter jet in it, it was an F-15 Eagle. Yeah. Even Transformers had it, and all this stuff. So SWAT cats. I was big into cartoons when I was little. But that's where I recognized it in your office.
You bet.
And I knew that was an F-15.
I really honor the part of being in the military and people that work for me that are in the military or have since left the military and are working for me. Yeah. It's such a privilege to have those folks working for me. I can't say enough about that. It's a heartwarming thing for me.
Well, the military community is very tight-knit, very great people. And again, thank you for your service.
Thank you.
For serving our country. I would like to get into, so after you got out of your military career, you moved into HVAC, or how did that come to be?
Funny story there. Quick one. I was starting to hang ductwork at a company named Ames, Iowa, and we were just hanging ductwork, and that was a dead-end job from the start of it. I knew it, but it was certainly a job.
Just making ends meet.
Right. Get out. I was still single, needed to do something, so I got onto that. Then that didn't work out so well, just because I needed more.
Of course.
So a great boss from Shaw Heating Cooling, Wendell Fausch, hired me. That's like $7 an hour back in the day. It was crazy. Wow. But I was a single person, so I took that challenge.
Make it manage.
You bet. And but anyway, worked through that company for over 18 years.
Oh wow.
So when it was time for me to leave, before I was ready to leave there, I kept telling Kathy, my wife, that I can do this on my own. I know I can do this. And I think if you tell yourself that enough times, you will make it come to fruition.
Yeah.
It's very true.
Was it like a gut feeling you have? Because
always. It was always a gut feeling. Scared Kathy to death.
Yeah.
She's wondering where our money's going to come from, that sort of thing. But
so that's where you met Kathy, was in those 18 years?
Yeah, in the beginning of those 18 years.
Okay, yeah.
Yep, in the beginning of those 18 years. We met in 92 is when we met.
Awesome.
Then we got married in 94. So, but anyway, the working through the experience of carrying the guy's toolbox to learning to put in furnaces and air conditioners by myself, to get my license and everything, my journeyman, and then it turned into master license eventually after that. But
awesome.
We really worked really hard at getting to the top and earning my way to the top. Nothing was given to me.
Yeah.
And I think Wendell Fausch and then his son Roger, who then eventually became my boss, They saw something in me that I didn't see in myself. But they certainly, at the end of the term of the whole thing, I needed more. And it's funny to say that because I was making very good money. Doing a lot of work for a lot of people, for Shawl and everything. And
you felt like you could make a bigger difference somewhere else.
Absolutely. I knew I could help other people. Where I was at, I was helping myself and my family for sure. But moving forward beyond that, I just looked at it and said, hey, I can do this, and if I can help other people get into the industry and then move on from that, fantastic. And that was kind of my whole idea and my goal. And that's what happened in 2010. I was looking for a job, or I wasn't looking for a job. That's not a good way to say it. I was looking for something more. And so I went to my boss, and I said, I just need a change. After 18 years, I think most people could honestly agree with me on something like that.
Yeah.
But a lot of furnaces being up and down the stairs and whatever. So they said, okay, we give you permission to, not permission, but they said, go out and see what you can find.
Yeah.
And
they probably didn't want to lose you, that's for sure.
They didn't, but they understood, which was very, very grateful on their part.
Sure.
So just a few months later at that point, I took a job as a salesman for the Bryant factory.
Okay.
And with Comfort Products Distributing here in Urbandale. Okay. Kind of were 50-50 with me. And I was assigned the task of going out and finding new dealers for Bryant to sell Bryant equipment.
Oh, okay.
Now, for the people out there that don't know that, Bryant and Carrier are made under the same roof. Carrier, they designed air conditioning. Bryant has been around since 1904. So if anybody's got one of them old furnaces laying around, I'd love to see
Bryant,
it. It's Bryant.
Yeah.
And they all were Bryant until they were taken over completely by Carrier Enterprise.
Okay.
So that's how it all began. Okay. And so we're still brother-sister team. They know it. We know it. We compete against each other every single day.
Yeah.
So anyway, the story ends with the fact that I was a fish out of water there. I knew how to talk to a homeowner. I knew how to fix a furnace. I knew how to sell a furnace if I need to. I knew how to size things. I knew all those things. But what I didn't know is that I didn't know how to talk to another dealer to upgrade to maybe a Bryant system or a Bryant furnace. So I was like a fish out of water, because those guys in their mind, and rightfully so, are the best. Yeah. I'm just a sales guy at that point.
Sure.
And trying to move them from product to a different product.
Persuade them. Yeah.
Exactly. I was very bad at that. Terrible. And it only took me about 10 months to realize that. From that way forward. So I just went from there and went into going back to the factory and saying, hey, look, I'm not good at this finding Bryant dealers, but if you want a Bryant dealer, here I am.
Yeah.
And talked to Tom Archer, the brand manager at the time. And I said, do you have any problem with a company calling themselves Bryant Iowa Heating and Cooling? He said, no, we don't at all. I mean, that's could be somebody's last name, could be anything. The whole story behind that, the real story of that is, in my mind, I didn't think DuWayne McDaniel Heating and Cooling would sell. Okay. And rightfully so. I think there's lots of people out there that would love to put their name on the wall and stuff like that.
Everyone kind of tries to.
But you got to. I think in my mind, I had to be bigger than I was at the very beginning.
That's really cool.
Yeah. So.
Did you dream about that name, or what? You just knew you had to use Bryant, and you came up with Bryant, Iowa.
Right. Because I wanted to look at that whole picture and say, Bryant, Iowa sounds massive. And to this day, we get calls from people in other states talking about warranties and things like that. And we have to always point them back to the factory. Because we, in a sense, look like the factory in a sense. And so that in 2014. Okay. We had been in business then at 2.5 years, not quite 2.5 years. And we went and had grown enough. We were just living out of our house, selling furnace and air conditioners out of my garage. I mean, we were doing everything in our power.
So you weren't even in Uptown yet.
We weren't. No, we weren't at all. And I know, of course, that came later. But I knew I had to get out of my house and get into a business like a brick and mortar type of place. So, but we did well enough in 2014 that we were named Dealer of the Year for Bryant for Iowa, Nebraska in 2014. Now, wow. Keep in mind, this is standing up in front of some of the very big companies in Des Moines metro area, and very humbling, extremely humbling. And it was growth mostly, purchase growth and things of that nature that got us there, plus the integrity, the honesty, and everything. We carry everything like that today. Mm. We really watch all that. We don't hire people that have driving records, that have been in jail or things like that. If they have a track record of any kind,
so a lack of integrity, you just can't.
It's not going to happen. We've seen a lot of people come through our doors that would love to work for us, but they have a track record of bad behavior in their past. Yeah. And unfortunately, we can't let that person in somebody else's home. Sure. And that's how we work it today. But then, so 2014 went around, and then in 2015 is where everything kind of changed for us. By that time, we'd moved into the Uptown Association area, 601 Southwest 3rd. Yeah. And at that point, we decided to become factory authorized dealer for Bryant.
So what does that mean to people who don't know?
Right. So factory authorized dealer, or FAD for short, it means that you have to jump through every hoop the factory wants you to jump through in order to sell their product. Okay. Not very many people do that. Lots of people like to carry 2 and 3 different products. Mm-hmm. We do not do that. We carry Bryant, Bryant and Bryant only. And by doing that, we try to, we have to carry the insurance. We have to make sure we always have our insurance up to date, all our workman's comp insurance up to date. And again, jump through every hoop that the factory has us doing.
So would you say some people quit halfway through? There's too many hoops to...
Most people hear it through the grapevine that they don't even want to try. Okay. And there's lots of reasons for that, and I understand that, and I appreciate them not doing that. But as a factory authorized dealer, you have so many more benefits as well.
Of course.
And one of them is just, again, doing our job every single day and doing it right. Has awarded us the Circle of Champion Award winner now 4 times in the last 5 years. Wow. And we're working on it 5th one rather. Yeah. And then in 2017 we were awarded the Integrity Award from the Better Business Bureau, which we honor, and we put that at the highest levels of everything we do. Cool. And and it's not about the accolades. It's just us doing our job every single day. Yeah. And my guys are doing their job great.
They're good reminders. Like when you walk right in. So if you guys haven't been to his office, when you walk right in, you see all these awards. Yeah. And so it's like you acknowledge that, and you're hardworking, and your workers see it every day. So then they just get more pumped up every day to do their best, to do whatever it takes, like your hashtag.
Exactly. So whatever it takes is the hashtag for Bryant. But it's your home, it's your comfort. You're all that matters is our tag. Okay. But the guys that work for us today know the rules of the game. They know how I think, most of them anyway. But the others are learning. But there's certainly lots of things that go with the factory authorized dealer and all these awards and accolades. Again, I don't hang my hat on that. The only thing the one that hangs my the most is that Better Business Bureau Award. Okay. I can't start to talk about that because it gets me going. They only hand out like 4 of them a year throughout the state of Iowa, and to have one of them sitting on our desk.
And that's any business, not just HVAC.
Right. It's small business award, and they have large business, and they have nonprofits and things like that. So and large business. So there's a lot of things that go into that as well. Sure. And to get a call like that from Better Business Bureau is quite it makes your arms kind of
really cool.
Kind of shake a little bit. But so we really look back at all that and say, wow, look what we've done. I don't go out and brag that. I don't. But what I do say is I must have done something right.
But you're proud, yeah.
Absolutely.
You have to be proud of those guys. And
right.
moving into an even bigger location, that's a sign of success visually.
Correct. Yeah.
So,
and right now we don't even have our sign up down there. So we're working on that. But our trucks are sitting out there, and things like that. Yep. So people see that kind of stuff.
Well, and they got the construction going on connecting to Ankeny Boulevard. So
exactly. So
once that's done, you'll get some good.
Right. With the new elementary school there coming in, that's going to just open everything up again for us. And we brought on a service manager this last year. And we're going to be bringing on a install manager.
Cool.
And then we're still looking for that next grade tech as well.
Okay.
And also office staff.
So whenever you train people, you want to try and educate them too, right? Can you tell us a little bit about the process of becoming someone that works for you?
Sure. So we will hire anybody as long as they have integrity and honesty, of course. Those are the
train them up.
Absolutely. The people that come into my office today that we can train typically are the people that have no idea and they're young.
Yeah.
These guys are young. They don't want to go to college. Maybe they can't afford it, what have you. So we hire them. They're a helper right when they first start. And then we move them into apprenticeship as soon as we can get them into it.
Okay.
Through Associated Builders and Contractors, or ABC of Iowa. We just officially graduated our first one this last year.
Oh, awesome.
It takes 4 years to go through that school. So it's a lot of school for them. And it's a lot of training and things like that. So once they're through that, they become a journeyman. After they've passed the state test, it's a bar test, and from what I understand now, it's changed from when I did it, and it's quite different. But to move forward, I'm looking at the guys that are here to stay. I'm hoping they'll want to take me over someday, and I can just sit back and watch them.
Be proud of it.
You bet.
The name and
you
everything.
Bet. Absolutely. So there's a lot of things in that. But back to some more of the training when they first come in, these kids coming out of high school. We've got a virtual reality system set up in the office.
Yeah, I've seen that. It's very cool.
Yeah,
I haven't done it yet, but
it's a good time.
Really cool.
So we because we're a factory authorized dealer, have some things that we can download and actually put our furnaces in front of new people, people that have never touched a furnace before, and virtually have them go in and work on it, train on it, and things like that. So there's lots of
very innovative.
It is very innovative. We've looked at it several different times. We've got the kids coming in. They just want some extra time. They can go in there anytime, day or night, whatever, and turn it on and practice whatever they want to work on, whether it be air conditioners, whether it be heat pumps, whether it be furnaces, thermostats, any of those kind of things. They can virtually tear down everything and put it back together without touching anything.
That's so cool.
And that's how we want to work them through, so they're not touching the homeowner's furnace until they're ready.
Yeah.
And once we feel they're ready, and that takes quite a time, usually about a first year before I ever turn them loose at all, even on a simple cleaning.
Okay.
So yeah, we want to make sure that they know everything they can possibly learn about just a simple cleaning, safety first, obviously, and then move them up through the chain of it, and checking gas pressures and all those things that you do on a furnace. And then of course they have to pass their EPA test before they can touch an air conditioner, as far as the refrigeration part of it goes.
Okay.
So there's lots and lots of training. I think we're going to book somewhere around 300 to 350 hours of actual on-site training this year, not even on the virtual reality, but just in general. The factory requires part of that, but we go above and beyond that. We've got into a system, Kathy and I have, where we go once a quarter to build the business. I pulled myself out, which was very hard to do, out of the business, or out of the service side of things.
Oh, okay. So you don't service any stuff now?
I don't.
So you've taken that president, kind of position to...
You have to, because a company cannot grow working in it. You got to work on it. And that's just how it is.
Very well put.
Yeah. You've got to go in there and follow up with people and do your best. And we're not perfect, but we certainly do our best to make sure that the customer's always satisfied. And that's one thing with the factory authorized dealership is we get to offer that client, once they put a furnace and or air conditioner in their house, that if they're not happy 100%, if they're not happy with the job going in or after it's installed, they have 12 months to tell me they're not happy.
Wow.
And if they decide that, hey, DuWayne's tried everything he can do and he's not fixed our problems, I will take it out of their house and give them 100% of their money back. And that's a written guarantee from me and also the factory. So that's it's a big deal. It's a lot of weight on my shoulders every single day.
Not very many businesses can do that.
No, and I would think that any business that does this would actually do it. But we actually have it in writing. It's a contractual thing that we both sign. Wow. So they sign that when we put it in. So again, every day I check my guys, make sure how the job went and things like that. I've got guys that go out and actually start the jobs now. For the most part, I don't get to see all my clients anymore, which is sad for me because I know I've gained so many more clients that I have no idea who they are. I know them on paper, but I don't know them face to face, and that's what took me away from part of that, being out in the service side of things. But again, I have to be in there in the office where
you have to be the leader.
Yeah, you have to be the quarterback, right?
Yeah,
so
sure.
So that's how our company runs today. I'd still love to get out there and do it, but I just can't anymore.
Yeah.
Smart part of it's because I'm running the company. The other part of it's physical. Just had my back surgery here about 7 weeks ago. So that's from hauling on.
You got to take care of yourself because I'm not gonna lie to you. When I was driving by a few weeks ago, and Kathy told me you had surgery. You're out there mowing your yard. Yeah, you need to take care of yourself, DuWayne.
I went against doctor's orders on that one, but I mean, somebody had to mow it.
Yeah, true.
But it was. I had to get out of the house too. Yeah, I'm a go getter, and I don't sit around too much. When I was forced to do it, it sucked, but I did it anyway. But back in the swing of things now for the most part. We're doing a lot of great things at Bryant Iowa Heating Cooling.
Awesome. For those who haven't maybe given you a call, so what all products do you carry and what all can you do for a customer who calls you and maybe has heating issues or cooling issues?
Well, anything heating and cooling we can touch. There's not a thing out there that we don't touch typically. Now we don't get into the big corporate buildings, stuff like that with chillers and things of that nature. We do like small businesses. We do small businesses, light commercial work, stuff like that. But our bread and butter every day is working with grandpa and grandma or mom and dad at their house and their furnace and their air conditioners. That's what we do every day. So yeah, there's so many more things that we could do. But we choose not to do. I've got my master's plumbing license, for example. I don't use it. I don't use it. We put water heaters in, but that's it. I don't want to get any further than that. I let the plumbing guys that do that every day do their job, and they do it well. And I'd rather
wise of you.
Yeah. If I had 5 different products on my shelf that I could pick from any day, which one do you pick? I pick Bryant. Okay.
So you have furnaces that you sell. Do you do like the ductless stuff now too? And
we do. Great question. So ductless is not new. Ductless mini splits is what they are.
So it's been around. It's just I've heard they're newer and all this lately.
Right. They are not new. Okay. They've been around for 30 years in Europe and over in Asia. Okay. They're nothing new. We're the last area to give up our gas appliances. Everybody wants gas appliances. Sure. Well, we can put ductless mini split in anything, including a brand new house. And we could actually heat and cool a brand new house.
With the ductless?
Yeah, absolutely. Oh, absolutely. Wow. And without having any ducts in there, which have to build bulkheads around and things like that when we're building a home. So again, we don't do new construction, but I would certainly entertain new construction with ductless mini splits. Ductless. You bet.
Okay. I just had that question because I've heard it recently, and I remember walking through your factory, you told me, these are all ductless. I'm like, okay, cool. So those are been around.
They have.
You have your experience with them. Okay.
You bet. Cool. Yep. They're a great heating cooling system. Yes, they're a heat pump, but the people that remember heat pumps from 25, 30 years ago shy away from it because those didn't work like they were supposed to. Well, they worked a little bit down to about 15 degrees outside. Okay. Well, like today, it would be shut off. Sure. You'd be running electric strip in your home. So it costs a lot of money to run it. Well, today, these heat pumps are running 30 plus SEER rating. And so that's a huge rating. A normal furnace and AC going in a house today, the typical is about a 16 SEER. So it's way, way lower. Yeah. But that number doesn't change dramatically from the late 80s all the way up through. Late 80s was 10 SEER. 90s, low 90s were in the 12 SEER. and then so it hasn't really changed a lot. That people have started getting onto the efficiency side of things.
Okay.
But they
so
haven't.
Is it the higher, the more efficient, the rating?
Right. The higher, the more efficient. But again, when you start getting into the 16, 17, 18 SEER standard furnace and air conditioner stuff, you're mixing pennies. It's really, there's some bells and whistles to it. Yes. But is it saving you that much more money by going to a 16.5 SEER versus a 16? I would say no.
Not really.
Not on a daily basis. Now, if you take that over a 15-year period, can you look back and say, did it save me money? Yes, of course.
Okay. Well, one more thing I wanted to touch base on with you is you have a really cool story of how you reach out to the community and you give a lot back to places that have helped you in the past, and just helping people is really a big deal to Bryant, Iowa.
You bet.
So can you tell me a little bit about, is it Radcliff?
It is Radcliff.
And your history with that, building there in Radcliff?
Right. So I grew up in Radcliff, Iowa. Population at that time, I believe, was around 800.
How far is it up from Ankeny, for example?
It's about 49 miles to be dead on, because I say that very confidently because I drive that and a lot. Plus, when I was opening my business, I wanted to say, well, how big of a circle do I want to actually cover? I wanted to cover Radcliff, and that was my goal.
So you're up to 50 miles.
50 miles, and if it's in the Radcliff district and I know the people, typically I'll take care of them too, even if it's a few more miles north or east, or west. So we do that. So up in Radcliff, what we got into here a couple of years ago in the summer, they're raising money for the Legion, American Legion Post 317. Heath Stoley is the commander up there. So Jason Brown was the concert that night. Hadn't met him. I heard of him, but I've never met him. And the goal that day for the Radcliff Days for that concert was $100,000.
Okay.
Now, at the end of the night, my wife and I are sitting there watching the concert, having a good time, whatever. And they got up and said, we've hit $96,000, and everybody's applauding and fantastic for a small little town to create $96,000 is amazing. So, but their goal was $100,000. They never said anything more about that. But I looked at Kathy and I said, look, this is hometown. This is my town. And so we got up and went into the back and talked to Heath in the back of the stage. And I said, I need to get up there and say one more thing. And so Jason Brown was getting ready to play his last song. He started playing his tunes and whatnot. And Heath got up there and said, hey, stop for a minute. Stop. We got one more thing to do here. So they brought me on stage, and I said on behalf of the class of 1985, where I graduated from in Radcliff, and my company at Bryant Iowa Heating and Cooling, you have the other 4,000. You needed to hit that 100,000 tonight.
Awesome.
So that was
cool.
It was so amazing. The money is not part of that at all. It was the feeling you get from giving, and it was amazing. So from that point forward, things really started rolling. About 6 months after that, maybe 7, they had got most of the money for building the new Legion Hall. And so we ended up calling Heath Stoley and saying, hey, who's doing the heating and cooling? And of course, nobody had stepped up at that point. And I said, Bryant Iowa was going to volunteer all their time, all their effort, parts and equipment, labor, everything, and give you that as well. So next spring of 2020, we're going to go up there and put in all the heating and cooling system on us. We are going to take care of that Legion Hall and make sure everybody's nice and warm and nice and cool in the summer.
That's amazing.
Yeah, it was really cool. There's that gives me goosebumps every day, giving back to my own community. How in the world would I have ever known that? Leaving Radcliff when I did, how would I ever known I could do that?
So you'd have the capability
to do that. And it's all in. All my guys are in on it. They love the idea. The whole project is going to be absolutely awesome. We can't wait to get started on it. So the prints are being made as we speak. And in I believe it's September or October of 2020 is supposed to be opening, and we'll be up there for the grand opening for that.
Awesome. Can't wait to see that.
Yeah, that'll be a blast up there.
It'll be fun.
Yep. So, Radcliff, like I said, is being my hometown. I can't say enough about that little place. I think it's shrunk even now. It's 600 or 700 people. I don't even think there's that many. They lost the high school. So it's kind of split up the town quite a bit.
Oh, wow.
So, so it's just a small town that it's great to get back to where you can. And then, here in Ankeny, we always are part of the Uptown Association, where we're with the, or with the parade every summer, things like that for the Ankeny days. So we do a lot of that too. And that's just having fun at that point.
Sure. Do you love giving back to the community?
We do. We help people where we can. Obviously we can't help everybody in every little situation, but we certainly will do our best every time. And like I said, our biggest thing is 100% satisfaction with Bryant. We ask that customer when we put their furnace and air conditioner, are you 100% satisfied? We need to know that from day one of the installation, because when it comes out to a month or two later and they're not satisfied, we need to figure out what happened. So we look back at that and fix that then. It's always best to find out, up front and get things taken care of before it becomes a big issue. That could be possibly just a small little thing to get taken care of. Again, it's the 100% satisfaction. I live and die by that very phrase.
Awesome. Well, where can people call you and research? Maybe do you have a website that they can go visit?
You bet. So our phone number is 515-963-0333.
Okay.
Find us at 128 Southeast Surefine Drive in Ankeny. And website is bryantiowa.com. So
all right.
We're out there. You can find us on Google.
You're on social media.
Social media is all over the place with that.
Perfect.
And we really are heavy on the Facebook side and the Twitter and things like that. We don't try to bombard people with that kind of stuff every single day, but we certainly want them to remember us and know us, and remember to call us if they have problems.
Of course.
Even if we didn't put their system in. Okay, we work on everything. We don't just work on Bryant.
Good to know.
We work on everything, geothermal all the way down to just a standard gas furnace.
All right. Well, thanks, DuWayne, for coming on the show.
Well, thank you very much. I appreciate it.
Thank you. Thanks, guys.